What's up, everybody? Welcome into the BetSided College Football Roundtable. I'm Ben Heisler, and with me are my friends Ian McMillan, Peter Dewey, and Donovan Smoot. Here's what we're going to do over week one, because college football is finally here. We're going to go through this week's slate. We're going to find our favorite early lean based on the odds over at WynnBET Sportsbook, and we're going to share them with you. Nice and easy, right? We're going to be sharing picks either via point spread or via the total. So for a point spread, for example, let's say if I think Indiana is going to win, and they're plus 3.5 this week on the road at Iowa. As long as they lose to Iowa by at least 3 points, that means that Indiana covers the bet. When it comes to the total, you just have to go over or under the projected number of points scored by both teams in that game. So for more information, if you're always looking, we have plenty of content up. You can go to fansided.com/betsided for all and further details on a lot of these different games that we're going to break down. So let's start things off. Ian, you got a big play on your slate with one of the larger games of the slate. What is your pick for week one?
Yeah, one of the best games in week one. I'll definitely be tuning in. Alabama against Miami. Alabama's finally playing at least a little bit of a tough out-of-conference opponent, so that's nice to see. Looking at the total, big total, 61.5. I still like the over because these were two of the highest scoring teams in the country last season. Alabama last season, average combined score in their games was 67.9, and average combined score in Miami's games last year was 61. So with the total being at 61.5, I feel comfortable taking the over. Obviously, it is week one, so it's a little tough to gauge how this season's going to go based off last season's stats. But it is a high total. I'm not afraid of it. Give me the over 61.5 between Alabama and Miami.
And also that game is going to be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, so no real home field advantage in that game. Donovan, let's keep it in the Big 12. You have Louisiana going to Texas. The Longhorns are favored by 8 at home in that game with a total of 58. Where are you heading in this one?
I'm taking the over on that one. Texas, this is what they do. They start out fast. They come out, they show everybody that they might be a contender, and then they fall off at the end of the season. But they just announced that Hudson Card is going to be the quarterback, a redshirt freshman. This game just has a lot of potential to get very, very wacky, very weird and early. And so I'm taking the over. Texas has hit over 58 points in all of their season openers since 2014. Steve Sarkisian has done the same thing in his last 2 stints as a head coach. So I'm going to take the over.
All right, so plenty of points in Austin. And meanwhile, they're going to be moving to the SEC come 2025. Peter, you're looking at an SEC team that's favored by 28.5 points at home. Texas A&M at home against Kent State, and another big total in that game as well. We're looking at an over-under of 67. So who do you like here?
I'm taking the over in this one between Texas A&M and Kent State. We got a little SEC versus the MAC. It's going to be a fun matchup, but there's going to be a ton of points. Kent State hit the over on 75% of their games last season. They did it handily. They hit the over by 25.1 points in their games last year, which is just an insane number if you think about it. But their defense is very bad as well. Their offense is solid. They're bringing back their quarterback, Dustin Kroom, who was first team All-MAC last year, but they allowed 6 yards per carry last year. Texas A&M has a new quarterback, Haynes King, which means they're going to want to lean on the run game a little bit. They might run for 400 yards on this team. They're going to go all over them. And, if both teams are going to score a lot of points, 67.5, it doesn't look as bad, when you look at this matchup.
I like that the BetSided team has collectively decided that life is too short to bet the under. We got 3 over so far in our roundtable, but I'm going to break that trend this week for my pick. I'm going to go with West Virginia on the road against Maryland, little Big 12 against the Big 10. And I'm going to take the under 57.5. That's juiced to minus 115 over at WynnBET Sportsbook. Guys, the Mountaineers defense is incredible. They were 4th in the country a season ago. They were tops in the Big 12. And for all that offense in the Big 12, they pretty much gave up nothing through the air, almost about 160 passing yards per game. And now they have a matchup on the road at Maryland. Maryland is largely a passing-oriented offense with Talia Tagovailoa. That's the younger brother of former Alabama star and now Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. They're just going to get basically scrunched up through the air, and they're not going to be able to make a whole lot of plays happen, even though they're bringing back some elite level wide receivers. So I like the total in this game a little bit more than I do of West Virginia going on the road. And I think 57.5 is just too much points. So if you like this type of analysis, if you like these types of conversations, we are here for you over at BetSided. Again, plenty more content available by following us at BetSided on Twitter and by going to fansided.com/BetSided.